Welcome back to another Squid Games video. They just released some more pictures to promote Season 3, which is coming out next month, and there's some really interesting hidden details in these photos that weren't even in the recent teaser they just dropped. I think these are so big it's worth talking about in its own video, so we're going to go through and break down all of these photos. Some of them literally hold the key to one of the next death games they're going to be playing, and surprisingly enough, they snuck in one photo that hinted at this game they teased at the end of Season 2 with both of the dolls. So make sure you watch until the end of the video for that. If you like Squid Games, you're not going to want to miss out on the next videos as we get closer to Netflix's Big To Doom event at the end of the month, so make sure to go down and hit that subscribe button. Each new subscriber is one more vote to stop the Squid Game, so all of our favorite characters can take the money they earned and go live out the rest of their lives in peace. But until that happens, we're just going to jump right into these new photos, starting with the teaser pic of the newest revealed game, which honestly is going to be insane. Here we can see Gi-hun in line to get a gacha ball that will assign him to either the red or the blue team. We can see the blue team on the left is 120 as well as 100, the old man, and number 7, the older lady's son. And then on the right with red team, it looks like 222's forehead right here maybe. As we know from the teaser, Gi-hun will be assigned to the red team. I really love that this is another one of those messed up, twisted games where they pit the players against their friends and their loved ones. Do you remember in Season 1 how they would ask the players to form teams to play together against other teams? So everyone would pair up with their friends and the people they started to get close with, and they would compete against the other cliques. Well, with the marbles game, everyone was asked to pair up in groups of 2, and so everyone basically paired up with the person they were closest with, thinking they would compete against the other groups of 2. Everyone paired up with their best friend basically. One team was literally husband and wife, and then they revealed that you would have to play against your partner and one of you would be eliminated. That is twisted, and it was arguably the saddest game and the saddest episode to watch. I think by the end of that episode I shed a tear. Seeing Sang-woo turn on Ollie was gut-wrenching, and seeing Gi-hun break down and lie to the old man was so hard to watch. Not to mention Se-byuk getting tricked into winning. I mean, the whole thing was so messed up and you couldn't have known that that was going to happen. But in Season 3, with the voting, there's been a much more clear line drawn in the sand between the people wanting to end the games and the ones wanting to keep playing. And with their choices represented constantly by the badges on their uniform, the teams are very much already decided, so using this gumball machine to randomize the teams will for the first time in this year's games pit friends and family against each other. We got this picture of the mother and son holding hands, staring into each other's eyes, knowing this will most likely be the last chance that they will see each other. The odds of both of them making it out alive are so low, and they know that. The son's face shows that he knows that he's the reason why he's here, and he fully understands that he might not make it out, and he's accepting that fact more than being worried about his mother, while she is clearly just thinking about her son and is so worried for him. I think the son is most definitely going to die in this game and could very well be the reason we see his mother bawling on the ground in the teaser. I think it would be more emotional seeing the mother lose her son just because she cares for him so much. We also see that 222 actually pulls a red ball as well. They didn't show which team she was on in the teaser, and she was one of the only ones they left out from showing, minus 388, but he was kind of hidden in the back of the blue group if you looked hard enough. I definitely feel like 222 has a good team around her that is constantly looking out for her, especially because she's pregnant. It was kind of a relief to see that her and 333 are on the same team for this game. They definitely had been butting heads for a little bit in Season 2 up until the end, when Gi-hun was asking for people to help him with a rebellion to try their chances fighting and escaping, and 333 looked at 222 and she shook her head, signaling for him not to go with them so he didn't die. It showed us that she actually does care enough to want him to be around. She wasn't ready for him to die and not be there. Yeah, she's still mad at him for abandoning her and the child, but spending so much time in here in these death games and surviving the first half of them with him, I can't help but think that all she wants at this point is to survive these crazy games and go raise her baby away from all of this. She's voted to end the games each time. I still feel like 333 is being held back by his greed for more money, like it's keeping him from actually wanting what's best for 222 and her baby. Because there's definitely good in him, I think money and his financial debt is just making him prioritize the wrong things. And if he can realize that and let go of that and make surviving these games and protecting 222 and the baby his priority, then maybe we'll get somewhere. It's like the last time they talked, it was going well until he made it seem like he just wanted to be with her to use her portion of the winnings. I just want him to figure this out before it's too late. And this picture of him looking defeated or shocked maybe with blood all over his face and with the vest on is concerning. This could just be the result of an encounter with a blue player in the first game. I'm not entirely sure, but I really hope he just doesn't die here. But who am I kidding? This is Squid Games. Which also, let's talk about this new game. So here's another picture of the room where they get assigned to the teams. As you can see, here's a square guard manager and 2 of the triangle armed guards, and behind them is the racks of jerseys. On the left is the red and the blue is on the right. This is just the other side of the room we saw Gi-hun enter. The players enter through the knife hole and look forward towards this keyhole. In the teaser, we see the guards handing out colored boxes to each of the teams, and from the trailer, we had no idea what was inside of them. It wasn't until this picture where they released that the blue team will be receiving these keys that the shaman lady is holding, which is really interesting. The player behind her is holding up his box, and the player on the left of her is holding his key as well. It seems like the blue team will need to hold on to their keys in this maze we see them in until the timer reaches 0, and it seems like the red team will be given knives and will have to hunt down and fight the blue team to try to steal their keys. It feels like this is going to be one of the crazier games this season. In this picture of 333, we can actually see that this chain around his neck is the one the keys are on, which means he successfully managed to get a blue key. I kind of wonder if the shaman lady is going to convince her cult of followers to give her their keys for safekeeping. That way, if she encounters someone in the maze, she can always give them a key so they spare her life. Or maybe they'll just try to be human shields and mob fight anyone that tries to attack them. I mean, I don't know if everyone will be able to start together and team up like that, because that might be one of the smarter strategies. Now, next is one of the most interesting photos. Gi-hun rebelling is nothing new this season. I feel like he almost knows that he has a little favor, or plot armor if you want to call it. The fact that he got away with facilitating and actually leading a semi-successful rebellion, killing a lot of the guards and making their way almost to the command center, and he wasn't executed for it, is going to make him feel like he's invincible. Because if anyone else interfered in the games or in the voting as much as he did, I feel like they would be shot on the spot by now. So instead, like we saw in the teaser, they literally are just handcuffing him to the bed during voting time, which is hilarious. Treating him like a little kid, putting him in timeout. But this photo is intriguing because I can't figure out why he is being restrained. What happened this time in this location that caused him to attack the guards or act out so much that 3 guards are pinning him down? This silver line on the yellow floor behind him looks like the same one here in the big gumball sorting room, meaning that this must have happened at the start or the end of this first game. But I mean, we literally see him in line to get his gumball and he doesn't have his vest on yet in this picture, and then we see him in the game. But it looks like he's almost crying here. Maybe someone got executed before it started or something. I'm so curious. But the most interesting thing is his head injury. Last we saw him in Season 2, he didn't have it. This is a Season 3 injury. It looks like he has one when he's delivered in the coffin to the rest of the players, like maybe the guards knocked him out and gave it to him, but then at the start of this knife and key game, he doesn't have it. When he receives the ball, when he puts on his vest in this room, when he's actually in the game, he's fine. But we see it on his head in this photo as if maybe he gets hit in the head during this game in a close call, and then this is after. Because he has it when he's chained to the bunks during voting too. I'm genuinely confused by this. I think we'll get an official trailer at the Netflix To Doom event soon that will help us piece even more of these puzzle pieces together. Here's a picture that looks like it takes place as soon as Gi-hun is returned at the beginning of the season. Like him and 120 are catching up on what happened in the rebellion after him, Jung-bae, and Inho took off to charge the castle. It looks like Gi-hun is realizing and processing everything that's happened, and 222 is listening intently. This also seems like it takes place very early on in the season. This is the giant pink stairs room in between where the players stay and where they play the games. Most of the time when they're in this room, they're walking to and from somewhere, but here it looks like they're stopped, just standing, looking upwards in shock. Dejo has genuine fear in his eyes, and the player behind him definitely looks shocked as well. I wouldn't be surprised if this scene is mirroring what happened in Season 1 after they uncovered the secret black market organ operation. Because once they found out, they killed everybody involved and hung them up as examples on display to show the other players what happens if you disobey or break the rules. And with something as big as this rebellion, with the players organizing themselves and launching an attack against the games, they are 100% going to need to make an example out of the Fallen. And I'm sure Dejo will be feeling a lot of guilt for running away and not returning to the others with the extra ammo, because who knows, maybe that would have saved them and given them a fighting chance. I'm curious if 120 is going to give him the cold shoulder and stop talking to him now, or if they're going to try to be more understanding towards him. Everyone's human and can feel fear, and everyone can make mistakes, but I'm genuinely curious how everyone's going to handle his actions. Now, the one picture we got of Inho is really interesting. He's in the frontman getup, he's suited up in his headquarters with a drink in hand, seemingly watching a game, or maybe just thinking. But his hair is still in the hairstyle he used when he went undercover as a player. Normally, Inho wears his hair up or backwards out of his face. This is the hairstyle he normally has, but when he goes undercover as a player, he lets it go down in front of his face and there's a part in the middle off to one side. And in this picture, his hair is still like that, as if this takes place right after the end of Season 2 after he was charging the control room with Gi-hun and then slipped away and threw on the frontman outfit and then went back out and killed Jung-bae, and then this is exactly right after that. Pretty interesting. We also get this shot of Namgyu, which seems to be after one of the Season 3 games, possibly the Knife and Key one. I kind of thought originally he was who 120 would be facing off against in this shot, but now that Thanos is dead, maybe Namgyu will step in his shoes and be the new biggest player antagonist this season. Because he looks pretty bruised and bloody here, like they played another game and he had some close calls. And then we see a shot of Junho making contact with the beach finally, which is so great to see. It was really hard watching him go in circles for the entirety of Season 2. They definitely put his story on hold and gave him the back seat, so I'm really excited that this season he will resume making progress towards finding the games and ultimately his brother once again. The biggest thing will be, now that he's had time to process Inho is alive still, is if when he finds him, if he's going to try to stop him no matter what it takes and possibly end up shooting him back, or if he's going to try to reason with him and save him or convince him to stop the games. Because I don't think he would. I'm so excited to see him meet up with Noel, if I'm being honest, which seems to be what this picture here is. Actually, you know what? Now that we look at it, this could very well be the front man. It almost looks like this is his hoodie here, but I don't know why he would reveal his face and his true identity to her if it was him. He likes to be very secretive with his identity, especially to his workers, so maybe this is Junho. Tell me in the comments who you think this is. And now, last but not least, we get this awesome pic of Minsu. And while it's not the most exciting picture, this is the only picture out of all of these and from the entirety of the teaser that shows the 5th game, the one teased at the end of Season 2 with the 2 dolls. All of the Season 3 promotional footage recently has been teasing the Key and the Knife game, which should be game number 4. And now, for the first time since the Flower teaser, we finally get another look at this game. And not only that, but if you look closely, it seems that Minsu has started voting for the other side again. Thanos was originally the one who bullied him into voting to continue the games all of last season, and eventually he stood up to him and voted red to stop the games. And then now he's voting blue again. What happened? I mean, my guess is Namgyu is pressuring him now instead of Thanos, but it's still the same thing. And it kind of looks like Minsu is looking angrily at this other player here. It also looks like at some point, his entire right wrist was covered in blood. I wonder if that happens in the Knife and Key game. Maybe he's turning over a new leaf and will find his fight in Season 3. I guess this also confirms that he survives the Key game as well, which is impressive because he got a knife, not a key. Maybe he stole it off a dead player, but still, maybe he's going on the offense this season. I feel like they're really limiting everything they're showing us to basically the first episode just to avoid spoiling who dies in the first game. So besides Gi-hun, who do you think has the best chance to win the Squid Games? Tell me in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon in the next one. Peace.